Good afternoon to you, Mark Sutton with HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Pro and HD video blog for the 27th of June 2016. Let's take a look at sea surface temperature anomalies. No big surprises or changes for today, the 27th. It's just updated today. Still a fairly warm tropical Atlantic, Caribbean, and Gulf. A little cold up here in the northwest Atlantic, but this is starting to fill in a little bit. And then we have this blue ribbon of cold headed through the tropical Pacific. This is waxing and waning from time to time as the pressure pattern hasn't quite lined up yet to really foster this La Nina growth in the Pacific. We can see that here on the subsurface chart. This is the top of the ocean, and this is about 150 meters down, and this is a very large area of cold relative to average subsurface water. And then you see these little areas that have shown up of positive anomalies sitting in here, just a few of these little eddies, if you will. Some of them are almost like big islands of warmth. And then you have the La Nina-ish kind of look trying to butt up against that. Well, what's the holdup? Well, generally, you need some pretty strong trade winds up here at the surface to kind of bring this up to the surface, mix it all in, and spread it across the Pacific like a conveyor belt. And if the trade winds are disrupted or they slow, then that process can slow. So that's kind of what's happening right now. And it's probably still going to be that we have a weak La Nina set in by the fall, but it's not going gangbusters just yet. And so now let's look at the satellite pictures for the different regions of the, well, we'll go around the western hemisphere for now. So here's Hawaii. Nothing bothering them. The intertropical convergence zone nice and calm, and nothing developing off of that. It's been very, very quiet in the Pacific this year. Not even the first named storm yet in the eastern Pacific. Nothing at all. Central Pacific quiet. A little bit of activity over here in the western Pacific, but it's probably going to struggle as well. Quite a difference from where we were this time last year when things were very busy already. Now, looking into the Atlantic Basin and the southeast Pacific here, nothing really of note, just a little bit of convection popping up off the coast of Mexico. The Gulf, Caribbean, tropical Atlantic, all very quiet. We are in the dry phase of the Madden-Julian oscillation, which means basically we have a lot of sinking air in the tropics right now. No major areas, widespread areas of rising motion to promote tropical convection. That might change. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Over Africa, a few blobs of convection noted, but once they come out over the water, this Saharan air coming off with some of these, very dominant and kind of like throwing a wet blanket on a fire. But in this case, it's definitely a dry blanket. But you understand the analogy there. This just doesn't work. I mean, you can even see it in this satellite shot, as low resolution as it is. This is just very dry, stable air coming out here, and that's not going to promote development. But it's only the end of June. If it looks like this at the end of August, then okay, there might be another season where not much happens. But we still have almost 2 months before visiting that possibility. All right, looking at the MJO, this is interesting. The GFS and its ensemble members forecasting sort of a straight shot into the phases that would favor development in the Western Hemisphere, but then the Euro, ECMWF, says not so fast. Which one's going to be right? I don't know. That's beyond my ability to know for sure. It's interesting. This goes into sort of the null region here where not much MJO activity anywhere, and then it amplifies into the Indian Ocean region. And again, looking at the GFS, that it goes through that same null region. So basically, no MJO activity for a few days, and then bam, it amplifies over in the Western Hemisphere. So quite the duel between these two for sure. Which one's going to be right? Tune in next week to find out. All right, with things being as quiet as they are, this will just be a weekly update. If anything changes, of course, I'll be back pronto. But until such time, have a good rest of your week. Stay safe out there if you're doing any boating, fishing, etc. Watch out if there's storms, that kind of thing. We want you back to be able to see what happens with the MJO duel, right? All right. Hey, that's all I've got for today. I'm Mark Sutton, HurricaneTrack.com. That's my website. Always a privilege and an honor to be able to do these video posts for you on Hurricane Pro and HD. And I'll talk to you again next week.